Tell everybody I am Drew Duncan. Do not forget that Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram is all at Drew Duncan Radio. You can find me on YouTube and Patreon by looking for Drew Duncan Radio. And do not forget that I am wherever you are listening to podcasts. Simply tell your device to play Drew Duncan on iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, CastBox, Spreaker, Deezer. I am wherever you are listening to podcasts. Folks, I am super thrilled to have our next guest on the program. He was a junior Olympic medalist. In 2016, he brought a bronze medal back home to his hometown of Wichita, Kansas. He won the first ever World Championship boxing match that happened in the state of Kansas, and now he is transitioning over to a Bare-Knuckle Brawl that is happening March the 14th at Interest Bank Arena. He is Nico Hernandez. Nico, thank you for being on the show once again.
Yes, sir, man. Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Absolutely, Nico. And the glaring question is, why are you making this transition from the boxing world to the world of bare-knuckle brawls?
I mean, I'm not really making a full transition, but I'm going to do this one fight deal. And it's just, I'm a fighter, you know, I do it all. So they contacted me and told me they're fighting at the Interest Bank, and I haven't yet fought there at the Interest Bank Arena in downtown Wichita. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. And, you know, I'm just, like I said, I'm a fighter, and I'm not scared of anything or anybody, you know. So I'm just ready to get down and, you know, put on a show in front of my home crowd like I always do.
Nico, and along the lines of fear, there have been a lot of people that have been on your Twitter about you going no gloves with this bare-knuckle brawl. What do you say to those people that are voicing their concern right now about your health and safety, or even your career overall, in terms of what the next step is supposed to be for you in their eyes?
Hey, man, you guys don't got to worry about me. You know, I control it. I control my fights, and I got everything under control, and you guys are gonna be pleased after my fight and when it's over.
I'm Drew Duncan. We're talking to Nico Hernandez. He is preparing for a bare-knuckle brawl on March the 14th in downtown Kansas at Interest Bank Arena. Nico, there's got to be some sort of training difference between getting ready for a boxing match and a bare-knuckle brawl. What are you willing to reveal in terms of something that you've done in your regiment that is the overall biggest difference to you in terms of how you train from one to the next?
I don't think there's really too much of a difference besides, you know, like my training and stuff is different, of course. And actually, sometimes I do use gloves sometimes when I'm still doing things just for conditioning on my arms and things like that. But yeah, I don't. It just depends what kind of workouts I'm doing. Sometimes I use gloves, sometimes I won't. You know, I have worked with a couple people, and you know, my clinching and stuff. So that's probably the main difference. But I don't think he'll be able to clinch me once I start throwing hands. So I guess we're going to have to see what happens.
Nico, I've already had David Rickles on the program, who's going to be on the same fight card as you in this. And one of the things that I discussed with him was being kind of a bucket list deal. For you, it may be a little bit different. What was the overall attraction to you in terms of when you got the opportunity, you knew that this was the reason you were going to do it?
Oh, man, you know, I mean, I just look at it like a street fight, you know, like I've been fighting since I was a kid. That's how I started boxing, you know, just fighting my neighborhood kids and, you know, fighting outside with no gloves on. And, you know, it's just another street fight. And that's how I'm getting paid to do it. And we get to do it in front of everybody now, and you know I believe that a lot of people freeze up once they get under those big lights. And me, you know, I've never folded under pressure, so you know I'm always game and ready to fight and put on a show for everybody.
Well, and along those lines, Nico, I can think of a couple of other names from people who came up doing street fighting. Jorge Masvidal would be one. The late Kimbo Slice would be another, but to you, is fighting just fighting regardless of what style it is or how it may be viewed by the audience?
Yeah, fighting me, just fighting, it's just in my blood, you know. I'm just a fighter. It's as simple as that. And no matter what kind of fight it is, I'm gonna adapt and do what I have to do in order to be victorious.
Nico, you called this a one-time deal. Are you thinking about moving up a weight class? Are you thinking about defending your world title? I mean, what's the next step for you? Are there too many options out there for you, or are you just taking this all day by day right now?
Right now, I'm kind of just taking it day by day, but no, definitely, I definitely plan on going back to boxing and taking over the 112 division, winning the major titles. So I'm going to tell all the flyweights, 112 pounders out there too in the boxing world to they better watch out, because I'm coming to take over all the belts and take over the weight class. And then as soon as I do that, then I'll definitely be moving up.
David Rickles, as I made mention earlier, is going to be on this fight card. Chris Harris is going to be on this fight card. What does that mean to you in terms of what's going on in combat sports right now with the city of Wichita?
Man, it means a lot. I'm glad that we're getting publicity like this. The combat sports in Wichita is not very big. But ever since I did come back from the Olympics, it's gotten bigger. Dave with the MMA and the Bellator, he's doing a real good job on that too. And it's just a lot of people don't look at it as a sport, but I think it's a great sport, and it teaches a lot of discipline and dedication, especially to the kids, and gives the kids something to do, and gives the kids people to look up to also. And I think it's great for the city of Wichita and the state of Kansas.
Nico, it was all eyes on the city of Wichita when Jarrell Miller was here, and you were also on that fight card. Michael Buffer was even here doing some of the announcing. What is happening in Wichita right now? Are we seeing a transition to where this town is becoming more of a combat sports town as opposed to maybe being the football or basketball town that I think it is right now?
I don't know about more, but it's definitely getting up there, and we're definitely starting to get on the map for that known as that fighting sport, the combat sports. And like I said, it's just great to be able to start something here, and just making history and just putting Kansas on the map and just changing things up a little bit here and kind of catching up with the rest of the world.
He won the first ever world championship fight that was right here in the state of Kansas. His name is Nico Hernandez. He is preparing for a Bare-Knuckle Brawl that is happening March the 14th at Interest Bank Arena in downtown Wichita, Kansas. Nico, you know this part of the program better than most. This is the opportunity that I give all of my guests to say whatever it is that's on their mind. The floor is 100% yours.
Yeah, man, I can't wait for March 14th. I'm ready to put on a show. It's gonna be real fun. People got to see me without the gloves. With the gloves. Now they get a chance to see me without the gloves. And I did see my opponent. He posted that he was gonna. He said, "I heard Nico Hernandez didn't fight nobody, but now it's my time. I'm making history." He said something like that. So, like I told him before, it ain't that I don't fight nobody, that I make them look like nobody. So we're going to see what happens on March 14th.
Confident as ever, he is Nico Hernandez. He is your world champion for the IBA, and he is also your IBA states champion. Nico, it was a true treat to have you on the program once again, and good luck to you in your upcoming brawl.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You're very welcome. All right, everybody. I am Drew Duncan. Do not forget that Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram is all at Drew Duncan Radio. Additionally, you can find me on YouTube and Patreon by looking for Drew Duncan Radio. And don't forget that I am wherever you are listening to the podcast. Simply tell your device to play Drew Duncan on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Deezer. I am wherever you are listening to podcasts. And as always, don't you dare touch that dial.